My name's Amrit Randhawa. I run a multidisciplinary practice at Islington Mill, where I sort of run a contemporary graphic design studio called Taxi Cab Industries, and I also maintain a sort of painting practice where I'll aim to exhibit paintings and a few textile pieces in an exhibition context every year. My connection to the mill probably started when I was at university, when a lot of my sort of associate lecturers, or sort of like the hourly paid lecturers at Salford, um, had studios at the mill, like Textbook, Dr. Me, and so on. And then I started going to exhibitions at the mill and probably went to a few gigs there as well when I was in like first and second year. And then when I graduated in 2017, I got a studio space about 5 days after I left uni, which was very fortunate for me. We went into lockdown in like the end of March, and I live here in a flat in Salford with my brother and his girlfriend, who both work for the NHS. So I guess I didn't really know. Maybe like a few days before lockdown was actually going to happen, they were like, "Oh, this is a really serious thing," and I was like, "It's not a serious thing." Like me, a man who like doesn't even engage with the news or anything. I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll be fine. Don't worry about it." Masks, what's all that about? I decided to move in with my parents who live in Stockport because if I was going to have to be sort of quarantined or if we were going to have to self isolate, I like the idea that I could just sit in a garden and not in like a flat in Salford. I guess like for the most part, it's sort of been business as usual. I sort of did that thing everybody maybe did who freelances, was like, oh, I should apply for universal credit because that I'm not going to have any money for like the next year. Um, but I guess fortunately for me, there have been so many opportunities that have come up off the back of this. Like here's a painting commission from like the Greater Manchester Combined Authority, or here's this. Like I had a thing through British Council, and all these things that maybe wouldn't have happened otherwise. It's let me. Well, I've had those avenues to pursue, which is quite good. Like within the first week of lockdown, my friend Liam, who runs a press called Ceremony Press, which is easily one of my favorite small presses ever, and he's based in Manchester. He asked me to typeset a book cover for him. So that's like a dream job within itself. But then to have that when I was worried about not having any work was a real privilege for me. The other thing I haven't really been able to do is sort of exhibit my paintings. I sort of had 3 painting shows planned over the summer, um, all sort of group shows, and well, one of them would have been a solo one, but that's not really happening anymore. I do have one piece in a show in Warrington at the moment, but obviously it's not quite the same. Yeah, just been cycling a lot. I think that's maybe like the one maybe proud achievement I can take away from lockdown. I really hate like the idea that when you grow up, or sort of maybe after the age of 18, that you have to sort of be, or even just like at any point in your life, have to care about your health. It's something I've often neglected and still do. Without a doubt, I've not become any healthier over lockdown. But I sort of, I guess I didn't realize how far I could actually ride on my bike, which is something um, which maybe helped me keep quite sane initially during lockdown, when there's a lot of uncertainty about what the world sort of was or was becoming. Now we're sort of a bit more normalized to maybe what the pandemic is like. But at first, I guess the first few weeks, I was out on my bike about 4 or 5 hours every day. Did some really nice sort of journeys into like the Peak District and places which are quite accessible from Stockport, but I wouldn't have thought otherwise unless there was a global pandemic. So that's my one silver lining, I guess. Maybe I've never been able to put it into words, and I probably still can't put it into words. But I think I'm quite a skeptical person, um, not necessarily cynical, but skeptical about like common belief systems or things maybe that we take as doxa. And this has sort of really confirmed that in a way that I probably wouldn't have expected. It's only something I've started to realize recently. Like, you have no idea what's going to happen ever. And I've always kind of thought that. But now that it's actually happened, I'm a bit like, oh, I told you so, the idea that I guess as well, like as a freelancer, I have no idea where my work will come from or does come from. And that sort of maybe confirms my own belief system that I know nothing. Like the more I've read over lockdown, or the more I've tried to engage with like texts or authors who it may be quite, and like people who I like admire and want to learn more about, the more I sort of read, the more I'm like, oh, I actually know nothing. Like I know no things. And I don't think that's a problem. I actually think that's kind of it's a bit cliched maybe, but it's kind of liberating to be like, okay, I know nothing, but also I'm happy to try and learn things or try and grasp how things work in certain structures. But I think, yeah, maybe like cycling's kind of helped me understand as well, or like clarified thoughts that I'd have previously had, or like thought the way I've thought about things. And now I've been like, yeah, like it sort of makes sense. Like a lot of things for me anyway have sort of come into fruition after like 4 hours of cycling and just being like so tired. And then it sort of just happens like that. And I feel like those ideas don't ever happen for me behind like a desk or behind like a computer screen. I feel like you have to really, maybe it's like something to do like being like on your own with your AirPods, to sort of make those I guess like realizations or actualizations, which has been like quite a therapeutic thing for a man who definitely can't afford therapy.